Hello my wonderful people, you're welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. So today I want to show you how to make a trumpet sleeve. So in my previous video I made a shoulder dart bustier and this is it. So I promised in that video that I will show you how I made the sleeve for this dress. Okay, as at this time it is not yet completed. I just made the blouse, remaining the sleeve. So this is the full picture on the screen. So I want to show you how I cut the sleeve. If you're new to this channel, I say a very big welcome to you. Join this wonderful family by subscribing. It is free to subscribe. Just hit on the subscribe button and turn on the bell beside it so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be among those that will be notified. Also join our Facebook group, Fashion and Styles with MacVivi, so that you can show us your work, you can ask questions and some other things. So thank you for doing that. And for our returning subscribers, God bless you all for always coming back. You are so wonderful. So without wasting much time, we'll draft our sleeve. So to cut our sleeve, I would first of all draft it on the lining piece before transferring to the main fabric. So it is a trumpet sleeve. So what we'll do, I would place my fabric on fold. So you place your fabric on fold. So when folding, there are two things to consider: how wide your sleeve will be at this lower part. Okay, how wide it will be. So for me, I would go with 16 inches, or let's use 18 inches, okay, because it is trumpet sleeve. It's usually wide at the lower part, so I'll go with 18 inches for the lower part. So you have to consider that. And again, you also have to consider your armhole depth. So you measure your armhole depth where you'll be fixing your sleeve. So for me, it is from here like so. You just measure, that is your armhole curve, you measure it. So I have 10 inches here. So by the time you have measured your round sleeve and you measure your armhole curve, whichever one that is bigger, that is the one you would use. So for the armhole curve, it is 10 inches I measured, and I will fold my fabric based on that 10 inches. While for the round sleeve that I took 18 inches, I would have to divide that by 2. Okay, so 18 divided by 2, that is 9. Okay, so and my armhole curve is 10 inches, so I'll go with that. So I'll place my fabric on fold based on that 10 inches. Then I can add 1 inch seam allowance just for extra folding, but what I need is just 10 inches. So I'll fold my fabric on that. Okay, so this 10 inches also covers up for the round sleeve at the lower part, because what I have there is 9 inches. Since I folded my fabric on 10, I still have allowance for joining the sleeve, that is a seam allowance. Okay, so I would fold based on this now. So I hope this is clear. You fold based on how wide your sleeve would be, considering the armhole depth and the round sleeve. So having done that now, also place the length of the sleeve. So it is a long sleeve. So the length of the sleeve is 23 inches, okay? But I'll add 1 inch for hemming. So I'll first of all mark out this top because it is not even. So I just want an even starting point. So this is it. So from here, I would place the length of the sleeve, which is 23 inches plus 1 for hemming, 1 inch for hemming, that is 24. So I would mark at 24. So this 24, in the 1 inch is a half inch for hemming and the lower part, and half inch for joining the sleeve to the bodies. So that is why I'm using 1 inch. So this is the length of the sleeve. Okay, so now I'll take the sleeve cap's height. So the sleeve cap's height is 4 inches in this case. Okay, so the top of the sleeve So the sleeve cap's height, how to get it is your bust circumference divided by 12 plus 1.5. That is how to get what you measure from the top for your sleeve cap's height. So now I'll just draw a line here. So what we are making is actually a basic sleeve. So I'll first of all make a basic long sleeve, then now create the trumpets. So I just made a line from this top to this point. Okay, so I would now measure this line and mark the midpoint. So it is 12. I would mark at 6 inches, which is the midpoint. So at this 6 inches, I'll come up by ½ inch. Okay, so this is it. By the time I come up by ½ inch, I'll just connect it to this point here. So I'm trying to place my armhole, my curve very well. So by the time you mark it like so, you mark down. So by the time you have connected this way, so after covering it up like so, from that point I'll just make a straight line down. Okay, now this like I said, I'm making a basic long sleeve. So if you don't know how to make a basic long sleeve, this is what we are doing. So from this other point here, you still curve it up. So from this point here, you also curve it up. Also curve it up, and now you curve down from that midpoint. You just curve down like so. So the essence of doing this, want to separate the front from the back. The front part of the sleeve, that is the side that will be joined to the front bodies, would be deeper, and that is what you can see here. So let me make it clearer. So I said at the midpoint, you come up by ½ inch, connect to this top, right? Then from this point where you mark to the where you marked ½ inch up, you also make a curve, and from that point you also make a curve down. So this is the front part of the sleeve, this part like this. So when I cut it to be clearer, so having done this, now you mark your elbow point. That is from your shoulder to your elbow. So in this case it is 12 inches. So I'll just mark it. Okay. So this elbow point. So if it were to be a basic fitted long sleeve, you mark your wrist measurements here. That is your round wrist divided by 2. In this case it is 4.5. I'll mark it here. Then I'll just connect straight from the top to that point. Okay, so I'll also add my seam allowance. So by the time you connect straight, you can see your long sleeve, a basic long sleeve. Okay, so this is it. You just mark it. But since I'm making a trumpet sleeve, it will be a bit free. To be a bit free. So what the measurement I need at the round at the elbow area, I would measure it. All you need to do is just measure your round elbow, including the ease you want, how wide you want it at that part. So for me, I want it to be this free, 15 inches, while at the lower part it to be wider, 18 inches. Okay, so that is how I would take it. So 15 divided by 2, that is 7.5, right? So I'll mark 7.5 at this elbow area. At this elbow point, I'll mark 7.5. I'll add 1 inch seam allowance. Okay, then at the lower part, remember it is 18 inches that I took. So 18 divided by 2, that is 9. I would mark my 9 inches here and add 1 inch seam allowance, and this is it. So I'll just connect my points. So from this point now, I would connect it to this area. So you can actually measure what you have here, because it has to fit in to the armhole. Okay, so what I got on the armhole is 10 inches and I have 11 inches here, so I'll just mark at that 11 inches. But it's better for the sleeve to be longer, that is to be longer than the armhole where you join it down, for it not to reach. So if it is longer, you can trim it out. So from this point now, I would connect like this and connect to this point. Okay, so I will just curve this side a little bit. It's not going to be that deep or sharp, just curve it. So this is how it's going to be. Okay, so you can decide to make yours wider, okay, or whatever you want. So this is the actual measurement here, but this is the seam allowance. So we'll sew it by 1 inch inside. So the 1 inch is just, you know, to have it there in case I would like to increase the sleeve also. So but for now, this is how it's just going to be. Okay, so to stitch it, this is actually how I would start stitching it. This is how I would stitch it. So these other ones are just the seam allowance inside. So this is actually what I would have as my sleeve. So like I said, this area should be just curvy, not sharp. Okay, so to just go this way. So this is the actual sleeve, and this is the seam allowance inside. I can decide to trim it a little bit, I can decide to leave it that way, but this is just the main sleeve. Okay, so I'll first of all cut it out from the outer one, that is this one. By the time I cut it out, I'll open it, then cut out the front. So you can see what I'll have here. So I'll open it up now. Then I would cut out the front. So this is to eliminate excess fabric at the front area. So this is our sleeve. So this is the back and this is the front. Okay, so with this now, I'll cut the second sleeve. So this is just one. With this, I'll cut the other sleeve by just placing it open like so. So because the back and the front are different, I have to place it open like this. I have to place it open to cut the other sleeve. Okay, so after cutting it this way, I'll then place it on the main fabric and cut. So to cut on the main fabric, you have to fold your fabric good side facing each other, then you place your sleeve open like this and you just cut it. That way you have the two sleeves. So I've cut on the main fabric. I have my two sleeves here. So you can differentiate the front from the back. The front is a bit deeper than the back. So when stitching it to the blouse, by the time you fold it this way, this side is where it will be stitched to the front side of the blouse. So this is the blouse and this is the front. So this side will be stitched to the front like so. Okay, so this is it. You can see, and you can see our trumpet sleeve. You can see how it goes. So I'll go ahead and sew the lining to the sleeve. By the time I sew the lining to the sleeve, then I would attach it off and I would join it to the bodice. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and use my lining to turn the sleeve. So when stitching your lining, you also have to arrange it well. the good side, and you place the lining on it. So match it up, front and back, the way it should be. So I'll go ahead and stitch the lower part of my lining, the sides, leaving the top open, where I would be able to turn to the other side, and I will join it to the blouse. And this is how to cut your trumpet sleeve. Okay, so let me do all that. So my sleeves are ready. Okay, so you can see this. So the wideness depends on your choice. So this is how I want it to be. So it's a trumpet sleeve. So if you want it wider, you can just, it's a matter of extending it. Okay, from the elbow, you just extend it as wide as you want. So that is it. So now I would join it to my blouse. So now I'll join the sleeve to the blouse. Okay, so this is the front side of the blouse. So I didn't stitch completely to the top. I like leaving this space so that I can join my sleeve. I like sewing the sleeve together with the top or with the dress. Okay, so I'll get my sleeve. Now looking at the sleeve, you can see that this is the front side of the sleeve because it's a bit deeper than the back. So this is the side that I will stitch to the front. Same with the other one. By the time I fold this one this way, this is the front. Okay, so this other one will go to this side. Okay, so that's how I'll stitch it. So to stitch the sleeve now, I will just notch the midpoint of the sleeve. After folding it this way, just notch the midpoint and attach it like so. The midpoint at the shoulder and the midpoint at the sleeve. Just turn it over, then I'll pin it at that point. So now I'll go ahead and stitch. So I'll just arrange it this way. So this is it. You can see it's matching up with the armhole. So I'll go ahead and stitch it. So I've stitched the sleeve. So now I'll give it a very good press. So I have decided to embellish the sleeve with some lace cutouts. Okay, so I also made a skirt, that is wrapper skirt for it. So I will be uploading a video on how I made the wrapper skirt as well, and I also have a video on how I made this blouse too. So that is the video I uploaded before this sleeve. So you can also check the link in the description box below so that you can watch it if you haven't done that. Okay, so I have just used pin to hold my lace trim out. So I'll go ahead and tack it down with needle and thread, and you see the final look of this dress. Okay, and here is the sleeve. So I embellished it with cutout from lace. That is an old lace. I had to cut out everything to embellish the sleeve and the skirt part as well. So I have uploaded a video on how I made the top. It is a shoulder dart bustier. I will also upload a video on how I made the skirt. So it is a wrapper skirt. So that will be the next video that will be coming up. So if you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It is free, and also turn on the bell beside it so that when I upload that video, you'll be notified. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you like this video. Please give it a like, share with your friends, and I would love to see you in my next video. Remain blessed.